It's one of the most frustrating things that can happen as a seller on Etsy. You're scrolling through listings, looking for competitors to research, when all of a sudden you see a listing that looks remarkably similar to yours. Or worse, you see your exact photos have been stolen by a fellow Etsy seller. Unfortunately, when it comes to sites like Temu and Alibaba, both of which steal listings from Etsy sellers, it can be a little harder to take action since these sites seem to not really care when their vendors blatantly steal from Etsy. But if your dirty butt thief does happen to be an Etsy seller, there are a few actions that you can take, which I recommend doing as soon as possible because unfortunately, many of these little dirty butts, yes, we're referring to them as dirty butts, since YouTube probably wouldn't like the names that we all actually want to call them, many of these little dirty butts will report you first, making it seem like you're the one who has stole the designs, which is obviously akin to rubbing salt in an already sore wound. So today I am sending you into battle with the weapons that you'll need in order to fight these little baby duty heads once and for all. Yeah, you heard me, little baby duty heads, because we're mature here on my channel. For anyone who may be new here, my name is Starla, founder of the Handmade Alpha Academy for Etsy sellers and manager at erank.com, Etsy's most popular SEO tool. And when it comes to Etsy support, you probably already know that Etsy doesn't exactly give 5-star customer service to sellers. Gasp! Say it isn't so! Which means that making reports against other sellers can be hard and easy. Too easy. Let me explain. When it comes to making a report, Etsy seems to favor whichever party makes the report first. So while it may seem like a good idea to message the thief first and give them a chance to correct their mistake, this isn't always the best path. Because in that window of kindness that you've granted to the dirty butt, they could turn right around, report you, then make off like a bandit when your shop gets suspended. Normally, I'm a pacifist, but my dear old Grammy always said, Starla honey, the only thing I hate more than a thief is a liar. And in this case, these sellers are both thieves and liars, so don't give them the time to run and cry wolf. Instead, you need to be the wolf by engaging in the hunt first. So, dear victim of thievery, here's what you're gonna wanna do. Step 1, identify the date of their thievery. Etsy usually doesn't go as far as checking the listing creation dates, though we know that they totally could because this information is publicly available within their API, but we're not gonna get into that. Instead, I'm just gonna show you where you can get access to this information yourself so that you can include it when you report this shop to Etsy. Start by taking a screenshot of both your listing as well as the Dirty Butts listing. We wanna make it clear to Etsy that these listings are too similar to be a mere coincidence. Then we're gonna head over to eRank and select the listing audit from the listing optimization menu. From here, you'll want to find your own listing that has been stolen from the list of items in your shop. Then click listing audit. From here, you'll be able to screenshot the exact date that your listing was first created in order to prove that you were the first to list this item. What the heck? The light died. Whatever, we'll keep going. I recommend taking a screenshot of this entire row so that the image of your listing and title are clearly visible. Now, it's time to take a screenshot of the Dirty Butts stolen listing. Head into the tab titled Competitor Research. Then select Competitor Listings from the menu. Enter the name of the shop with no spaces in the search bar, then find the stolen listing from the list. If the seller has hundreds of items, it may be faster to return to Etsy, copy the title of the listing, then paste it into the filter box to help you narrow down on your results. Now, once you've located the imposter, take a screenshot of the entire row, being sure not to leave out the creation date and the date that the listing was last modified. Oh, and though I hope that this isn't something that you deal with very often, if you repeatedly have sellers steal your ideas, it may be good to just install the eRank browser extension from the left navigation, because this will allow you to immediately open a listing audit from any Etsy listing while you're browsing, which is helpful for collecting these screenshots in a hurry. Next, let's move on to making the report. Step 2, head to Etsy's reporting portal. When you're heated and mad, it can be hard to know exactly where to go and who to contact about stolen listings. But messaging Etsy support directly can unfortunately just slow this process down. Instead, you're going to want to head to etsy.com/IP reporting. From this page, you can easily file your report with the evidence that you've collected. In fact, I recommend making the issue crystal clear by taking your screenshots into Canva or Paint and highlighting your listings in green, while pointing out your creation date and highlighting the stolen listing in red with their creation date, just to make absolutely sure that Etsy support can clearly see who is in the wrong. Afterwards, you'll receive a list of questions to answer about your business, including your name, address, and contact info. Once you're logged in, you should see a pop-up confirming that you've successfully entered the reporting portal, and you can begin adding your stolen listings. In most cases, your items will likely fall under copyright. Next, you'll want to add your name as the creator of the design if it's something that you created yourself. If it's a design that you created from a site like Canva, or if you're using stock assets that you did not create or design yourself, unfortunately, you do not own the copyright to these items. So just make sure that anything that you claim was 100% created by you. Next, add the URL to your shop, or if you have an official website that represents your art or brand, you may want to add this instead. In most cases though, you'll just want to add your Etsy shop URL. Then add the listing title as the name of your copyrighted work. As long as you are the actual creator of that work, you hold copyright over that work by default, even without a registered copyright. Though holding a registered copyright definitely makes this process faster, so if you frequently have your art stolen, this may be something that you'll want to consider in the future. Next, select whichever option best defines your copyrighted work. Then add the URL of your stolen listing. This is also where I would recommend adding the original date when you first listed your item, which you'll be able to see from the screenshot that you collected or from your listing audit page on eRank. If you do hold a copyright registration, you can select yes in order to add the registration number, but if not, just select no. Then click Add Property. By doing this, basically you're stating that this item or design 100% belongs to you. Now that you've added a piece of property to your list, you'll next want to click Reports in the top left menu. Now, before creating this report, it's essential to ensure that you are 100% confident that you own the rights to this work. For example, if someone has stolen your exact photos, a piece of art that you created with your hands, or a pattern that you personally made, you have every right to defend this property. But if the design simply looks a little like yours, or if you did not personally create the art used on the item, unfortunately, you cannot claim copyright over the product. And this includes the processes used to create an item, unless it's a product that you currently hold a patent over. If you file a report and the seller files a DMCA counter notice, you can get in big trouble. So while it's frustrating when someone takes a little too much inspiration from your designs, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do if the exact design wasn't 100% stolen from you. After selecting yourself as the IP owner, you'll be able to type in the title of the stolen listing in order to select it for your report. Then you'll have a chance to review your report before submitting it. But wait, what about those screenshots that we took earlier? Those will come in handy if the seller attempts to file a counterclaim, in which Etsy will contact you for more clarification. We want to make sure we collect these screenshots before submitting the report, just in case the seller decides to pull a fast one on you by swapping out the listing photos in order to seem innocent. After submitting your report, you should receive an email confirmation from Etsy letting you know that the review process has started. And since it's Etsy, it can take a while for them to review this case. But if you're ever curious, you can always log back into your reporting portal to check the status of this report. And remember, each time you create a new piece of property, this is essentially a new listing or design that you want to protect. So if you notice a different listing has been stolen, you'll need to create a new piece of property for this item in order to submit a report. As always, when it comes to anything falling within the legal realm, I am not an expert, and the best place to ask specific questions about intellectual property law in your area is from a lawyer who specializes in copyright and trademark law. Or for quick questions, you can always try a site like justanswer.com, though the price of this site has gone up a bit in recent years. But when it comes to staying safe, it may be worth it to hire a professional. That's it for today's video, but I do want to share something fun that you may be interested in if you're looking for ways to grow on Etsy during the holiday season. Every Friday from now until December, we're celebrating the Etsy holiday shopping season with Webvember, a collection of free weekly webinars that are designed to help your business grow during Etsy's busiest season of the year. Each event will be taking place at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Pacific, and 5 p.m. UK time, right here on my channel. The best part? We are hosting these free weekly workshops in celebration of our annual St. Jude fundraiser, which will assist in paying for life-saving procedures for children in need. We've already raised over $4,000 for St. Jude, and we still have 2 months to go. So please consider hanging out with us live every Friday or catch up by watching the event replays here on my channel. Until next time, Pookie.